Hey yo, what's up? Okay, so a lot of absolute amazingness happened to me today. Um, okay, so let me start by saying, as I was thinking about making this video, I realized that in all of my videos with all of my bitching about how how not so well my mother is taking my transition, I realized that I've kind of portrayed her in a negative light on here, and I really do feel pretty bad about that. And you'll see how this all comes into play here in a second. So, I went to my first day of work today, and I was really nervous about how the whole gender thing was going to come into play. You know, would they call me Miss no. Anyway, so I was like, I'm just going to sit quiet and wait and see what happens. And they hand out our employee folders to have us check over all the information and do all the insurance and all that. And I open it up, and right there in front of me, next to sex, it says M. And I wanted to jump and scream and holler and, you know, celebrate. But I realized that this might cause a potential problem. Because on one hand, I can't lie to them, because I could lose my job. But on the other hand, I don't want to make a scene and make them change it. And I think I'm fixing to open a whole can of worms here that I've never discussed here on YouTube. But here we go. Anyway, so I'm sitting there over the span of what seemed like an eternity, but I'm sure it was just a few seconds, thinking, you know, what do I do? I mean, on one hand, fucking righteous, but on the other hand, fuck. And so I get up and excuse myself to go to the bathroom, and I call my mom. And this is where that whole portraying her incorrectly comes into play. As much as I don't like how my mother has handled my transition, she's still an absolutely invaluable resource to me. She, you know, while she makes wrong decisions about how to handle my transition and doesn't always say the right things, I still very much value her experience and her opinions, and she has never steered me wrong in situations where I really needed to know what the most likely best idea would be. And so I call her and I was like, look, here's the deal. You know, they've got me as male, and I really don't want to tell them otherwise. I don't want to. I could potentially never have to worry about this again. And I said, but you're not going to like this. If I do this, I have to go change my gender marker, like, within the next week. She was like, yeah, I know. And I've been able to change my gender marker for almost 6 months now. However, 2 weeks after I got my first shot, my OB called me and told me that the results from my second PAP were back, and they found cancerous cells. And I've just kind of been letting that go, because my plan is to wait for it to be to the point where they have to give me a histo. And I know that's not the best idea, and my doctor throws a holy fit about it, but she doesn't get it. She was like, you know, if we don't take care of this, we could have to take it out. And I just looked at her and I was like, you mean insurance would cover it? Great. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Well, kind of it is. Anyway, so I told her, I was like, you realize that if I change my gender marker, that will not be covered by insurance. And she said, yeah, I know. And she reiterated the point that I have, because her and I have discussed this on several occasions. Either I fork out the 10 grand for the histo myself and lose untold amounts of money because I keep losing jobs because of the, you know, the gender discrepancy, as we'll call it, or I change it. You know what I mean? I'm going to lose money one way or the other. At least if I change my marker, it's a finite amount of money, and it's much less than the tens and $20,000+ a year I was losing in these amazing jobs that I couldn't get. And so my mom said, okay. My mom has agreed to help me pay for my medical bills that I incur, knowing that they will be there. And I told my mom that, I don't have money for this gender marker change right now. And she said, I know. So not only is my mom condoning my gender marker change, that alone is epic. She's going to pay for it, which is beyond words. And I was on the phone talking to her about it after work. And I said, I've got what may be one of the largest favors I ever have to ask of you. And she was like, what is it? And I told her I really didn't want to go to court alone. I really want my mom there. And I understand completely how much that is to ask of her. She kind of paused for a minute. And she said, okay. So, I think my mom's coming around. And that's fucking awesome. I mean, that alone is priceless. So there's... I can't even believe it. And then on top of that, I'm never, ever gonna have to worry about my gender marker getting in the way again. So yeah, that's...
What you doing, Chief?
Making a video. Sorry, it was my roommate.
Let me know when you're done, we'll go smoke.
Okay. But, yeah. In one day, my mom went from... So, yeah, today's been an amazing day. But, I'll catch y'all later. Alright, bye.